I welcome you all. My name is Shara Prophet. I am a behavior modification specialist, and I am the founder of the Be Magic School and the creator of the Sovereign Millionaire. So today we are going to talk about, an issue that is actually affecting everyone right now, which is the economy. And as a lot of things are feeling very, very tight. People are starting to feel that squeeze. And it doesn't even matter if you are, making six figures or higher, everybody's feeling the squeeze right now. And I just read this article on LinkedIn that linked back to an article in Bloomberg magazine regarding how top earners are quietly drowning in debt, right? So they're starting to feel the crunch and the squeeze, just like anybody who is, middle class or even working class. So what we're going to talk about today could actually be a little triggering for some people. And I'm just going to hit record here. Somebody's telling me to record this separately, just in case. Okay. So what I'm going to be diving into today, it could be a little triggering, okay? Because we're not talking about budgeting or trimming back on expenses and things like that, things that we typically talk about when we are being met with some sort of financial hardship. Okay. What I'm going to be sharing may not be what you want to hear. All right. Especially if you're someone who's used to blaming the market, job loss, high interest rates, recessions, whatever is going on in the external world. So, what we're talking about today is a conversation around what happens when the external world is matching an internal narrative or unconscious dialogue. Okay. And again, this is going to be a little triggering because a lot of people don't want to take responsibility for their energy. Okay. And that's usually the reason why we have experiences. So, you know, law of attraction both works both ways, whether you are attracting really, really good things into your life and you're like, yay, I got that, I attracted that, I manifested that. But if you have a bad experience or an experience that brings some level of contrast, then what happens is you're like, I didn't ask for that. Something's what's happening to me. Why is this happening to me? Right? When we receive a good manifestation, something that makes us feel really good, that brings a lot of abundance, that brings a lot of joy, and things are going our way, we're like, oh, that happened for me on my behalf. I'm so grateful. But when the things that don't feel that great start taking place in our life, then it's why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me instead of happening for me? Okay. So we're also going to be getting into the energetics of wealth, right? The subconscious programs, the automatic behaviors and the belief systems and the patterns that we didn't even realize were creating our reality, especially our financial reality. So if you're open to hearing this, then please stay tuned, share this video. If you're seeing it live, share it. I am recording it, so I'm probably just gonna have to post this later on somewhere because I don't know what's happening with the technology right now. I tried to go live on Facebook 5 times using my phone and it just kept ending the live. All right, so something does not want this message to come out today, and it's all good. It's all good. It's all good, right? Maybe it's me that doesn't want the message to come out. I don't know. Who knows? Anyways. So let's first of all, if you want to read the article that I'm talking about, you can find it on LinkedIn. And you can just do a quick search for high earners drowning in debt or high earners not being able to pay their bills. All right. Because what that article talked about was a lot of high earners who are bringing in a salary of over 150K or bringing in income over $150,000, right? But they're feeling that squeeze right now. And one of the main reasons that the article talks about is high interest rates, um, also inflation, high car payments. Maybe, one person lost their income in the household, so now everybody's relying just on one singular income. Okay. And it's bringing a lot of, panic into people's lives. But my theory, okay, my theory on this is that one of the reasons why we are experiencing this kind of like slow or lull in our finances right now, because it's happening all over the place. It's happening globally. It's happening, to people in all tax brackets. So everyone is experiencing this squeeze and this crunch. And yes, absolutely, the high interest rates, the recession, all of that stuff plays a huge role in it. Okay, I'm not negating that. But there's also some people who are thriving in this time. Okay. So we have to understand what is the real differentiator there. Is it because the people who are thriving have the inside scoop on things? They're doing things the right way versus the people who are having a hard time. Are they doing it the wrong way? There is no right or wrong. Okay. There is no right or wrong. All there is energy. Okay. Because there's people out here who have an income of $50,000 a year and they're not going through hardship. You have people who bringing in income of 3 million a year and they're going through hardship. So what this tells you is that it doesn't matter how much you have in your bank account. It doesn't matter what your income is, right? We're all the same. But what is the differentiator? What is the determining factor that creates that gap between, oh my goodness, I'm having a really hard time financially and I'm making quote unquote a lot of money versus, you know what, I'm making this amount, I'm making $50,000 a year, but all my bills are paid. I have a lot, of money set aside. I invest well, and my investments are returning a high, have a high year return on my investments. Things are working out. I'm multiplying my money. Okay. So let's dig into this because my theory is that the one reason that people are feeling that squeeze right now, especially the ones who are in the high earners income bracket, is that they have unconsciously made their job or their business their sole source of supply. Okay. And that is a dangerous thing because if business slows down, if you get laid off or inflation skyrockets, it causes panic. And when I say they're trusting in one income stream, I'm not talking about external income streams. Everyone should be creating multiple income streams, absolutely. But if your mind is not set up that way, okay, if you are not tapping into an internal energy field that can help you start creating those multiple streams, then you are going to rely on that mainstream. And that one mainstream will let you down each and every time. Don't ask me how I know. Okay. Because true wealth is never about how much money you have. It's about how connected you are to your divine source. Okay. How connected you are to everything. Because that's true infinite supply. When you know that your supply is infinite, when you know you have everything already, you are able to pull in and draw into you the multiplicity of income. You're able to pull that in. All right. And when you've got all of your trust wrapped up in just one source, then you are spiritually over leveraged. Okay. And you are financially over leveraged. But in order for you to get out of that, you have to open yourself up to more possibility. You have to turn your outward thinking and your outward sight inward so that you are led to the right places. You're led to do what the things that are going to set you up financially so that you're always living from the overflow. Okay. So that your cup is always overflowing. We're not looking at, oh, the cup is half filled. No, the cup is overflowing. Okay. We're taking the top off of the lid off of limiting beliefs, the lid off of limiting conversation. We're only focusing on what's possible right now. Everything is possible. So now let me speak the thing that I want to have happen because everything is possible, right? Everything is possible, the good and the bad. So if I'm focusing on all the ways that things are bad right now, then I'm going to have more evidence of that thing getting bad, that thing being bad. If I'm saying, okay, so for case in point, right, the technology today is wonky. All right. I don't know if you guys are seeing this live. I don't know what's happening right now. But I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do it anyway. I have other possibilities and workarounds right now. I'm open to all the other possibilities. So I'm going to record this and then post it later. Okay. I could have just sat here and said, oh, God, I don't know what's going on. Why is everything always wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? How come every time I try to go live, I can't make it public? And how come this is not happening and that's not happening? And I don't know what to do with this. I could sit here and just ruminate over and over again and never get anything done. Or I can say, you know what? There's a workaround for this. Here it is, and I'm going to do it this way. Either way, the information gets out there because that's all I care about is the information getting out there. Okay. So let's talk a moment about why some of the high earners are feeling this squeeze and this crunch right now. Okay. Sometimes it's because of overconsumption, living beyond your means. Okay. Which is not about greed, but it's about an unhealed need for things. People assume that if somebody is living beyond their means, it's because they're very careless or greedy or irresponsible. But it's not that at all. Okay. It's actually deeper than that because I have worked with clients who desire to get a handle on their overspending and living beyond their means but they think that they're just being irresponsible. But when I listen to their stories and I ask the right questions, I'm saying, oh, there is an unconscious program living in here that's causing you to quickly offload everything that you have. Okay, you could be bringing in $50,000 a month, and at the end of the month, all you have left is $2,000 because you are living beyond your means. Or for most people, they're living right at the income level. Okay, so you bring in $50,000 a month, and your expenses are $45,000. It's not because you're irresponsible. It is because you are working off of learned programming, right? Learned behavior. Everything that shapes us comes from us, from a learned behavior. We've learned from people and things in our environment. We've watched our parents do it. Our parents, lived right at their income level, or they were overextending themselves because they want their kids to have everything. So you watched this growing up, and now you're doing the same thing, and you're wondering why I am making close to, $500,000, or I'm making over $1 million a year and higher, but for some reason I still feel broke. For some reason I'm still struggling financially. Overspending is a symptom of a deeper void. Okay. There's something that you're trying to fill up. It is a subconscious attempt to fill the ache of not being enough, not feeling seen, not feeling safe, okay? Or not feeling like you've made it, okay? I don't have it yet. I don't have it yet. Okay, maybe I need to look differently. Maybe I need to get a better car. Or maybe you're just replaying the scenes that you grew up with. So when I see someone who's bringing in big checks, but they're quietly accumulating debt, okay? They have to keep getting more things and getting more things to fill the void because they don't feel complete yet. They don't feel whole unless they have this. Oh, I see that. I got to get that. I got to get it. I got to get it. I got to get it. Why? Why? I don't see them being irresponsible. No, because the majority of the people that I work with are very responsible, very level-headed, incredibly intelligent, and very self-aware. But you can be intelligent, spiritual, self-aware, smart. On top of it, you can have all the spreadsheets, you can have all the budgeting tools, but none of that is going to override the programming. None of that is going to stop that program that is automatic, that's always living there, that's always right there. None of that's going to stop it from making you behave. It's not going to stop the behaviors, okay? It's not going to override the unconscious hurt and pain. It's not going to override the learned behavior pattern that we saw in our environment. It's just not going to stop that. Okay. So when you start to understand what your money patterns look like, what are they? Oh, this is what I do with my money. Okay. Then you can start asking yourself the right questions. And a lot of people are just lacking the right questions. And that's just one piece of it, right? Asking yourself the right question. First, you got to acknowledge the pattern. And you got to ask yourself the right questions. And then you have to have tools available to help you start dismantling whatever it is. So what happens is that when we start seeing these economic shifts happening in the real world, right? In the 3D, the fear that we feel because of what's happening in the world around us is not because of what's happening in the world around us. I'm going to say that again. The fear that we feel because of what's happening in the world around us is not because of what's happening in the world around us. What's happening is that what's the incidences and the events taking place outside of us expose the fear that was already there. Okay. Case in point, I'm going to give you this example, right? See, I'm not afraid of spiders. I love spiders. I can pick them up, I can handle them, whatever. I love spiders. But another person, right, may see a bunch of spiders crawling around outside and they may lose their mind. Okay. It is because if I'm not afraid of them, they're not scary, right? To me. Or if everyone is not afraid or everyone's not affected by the appearance of a spider, then that means that each person's idea of that spider is subjective. It belongs to them. That's their feeling about the spider, okay? So it's the same thing with the economy. Everyone is not affected by the economy. Everyone is not afraid of it. For those who are fearful, who become afraid of it, what's happening is that you've always had a fear of losing or not having enough or going back to zero. So guess what happens when that interest rate goes up and the inflation kicks in or the layoffs start happening? Your nervous system goes into high alert and into overdrive. You hit that fight flight response, okay? You're in fight or flight. Your inner alarms are going off and you attract more of what you fear. So, have you ever heard of a person, losing their job? Okay. And then they lose their home, right? And then they lose their car. And then they, lose their friends and then their family. Okay. That's because they're in fight or flight. They're in fight or flight. And once you get looped up into that fight flight, wheel, it just keeps looping and looping and cycling and cycling until everything is gone. Because you got on that wheel and you kept going on the wheel of fear, not on the wheel of fortune. Okay, you're running on the wheel of fear, not on the wheel of fortune. Okay, the wheel of fortune is I see what's happening right now, but I also know what I would like to see and experience. Therefore, I choose to see and experience fortune. I choose to find the part of me that knows that my supply is endless, that financial abundance finds me now everywhere I am. There is financial abundance that is mine, that is available to me for my immediate use right now. But if you are on the wheel of fear, you're scrambling, you're desperate, you don't know what to do, you're scared, you're depressed, you're not taking any action. Either you're taking too much action, moving too fast, making even more bad mistakes and more bad decisions. Okay. Maybe you're spending a lot of money playing the lottery because you're afraid. Okay. Or maybe you're like, I'm gonna take my last 5,000 and I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna invest in this thing over here, right? This person said that if I invest in this, I'm gonna get, triple back my money. Okay. That's you running on the wheel of fear that is taking you in the wrong direction. That wheel is just taking you in all the wrong places because you are already in fight flight. All right. You were already afraid of losing everything when you had everything. And all the economy does that. It goes up and down all the time. That's just what it does. It goes up and down all the time. So your fears were already there. All the economy did was pull the curtain back and expose it. So what do we need to do when that happens? How do I stop this cycle of gaining so much, having everything and then losing it again? Gaining it, having everything and then losing it again. How do I stop that cycle? How do I stop this and then, oh, I got it. Here we go. Here we go. Oh no. Oh no, I'm losing it again. We have to address the root cause of the fear because no amount of money is actually going to ever feel like enough. That's why you hear people saying, I sleep when I'm dead. Because they're afraid that if I stop for a moment and breathe and rest and really enjoy my life and just say, hey, I'm going to take a break. I know I have everything. Everything is good. I'm straight. That everything is going to come falling down. So when you're operating from that mindset, that's exactly what happens. Everything comes crumbling down. Okay. So let's recap before I close out. I'm not going to stay too long. I don't need to. I think I've said everything that I needed to say. Remember that it's not about how much money you're making or how much money you have. It's about how much money you hold. And it's not hoarding it. It's not like, oh, this is my money. I can't let it go, because that is also a quick way for you to lose everything. Just holding on and holding on and holding on, right? You may not lose all your money, but it might affect your health. It may affect your relationships, because that's also wealth, right? The people around us make us wealthy because of how they love us and how they support us. Okay. You are nothing without your health. If you ain't got good health, baby, trust me, that is more valuable than any dollar. Okay. The image that you hold about yourself, how you see yourself, that's a form of wealth. Okay. Because you can have all the money in the world, but if you look in the mirror and you hate the way your body looks and you hate the way your face looks and you just want to go cut it and snap and do all of this stuff without first falling in love. I don't have any, listen, I ain't got nothing against anybody, you know, doing any kind of cosmetic work. Personally, it's not for me, but anyone who is interested in doing that, the first thing I will say is fall in love with how you look right now first. Find a way to love every inch of yourself, from the top of the head to the bottoms of the feet. Okay. And then go do your snip, snip, whatever. Do it from a place of love, never from a place of disgust. Or I just wish I could just cut this off and be, ugh, because that's you. You're trying to cut you off in some way, shape, or form. Okay. Do it from love. All right. So it's about how much wealth you actually hold within you, the value, how much you value yourself, your time, your energy, your health, your relationships, right? How safe do you feel having all of that? Do you feel safe with the money that you have? Or does it make you more nervous? Do you feel safe with the success that you have, or does it make you more nervous? And how deep your trust runs with the things when things get uncertain for you. So when things are like, oh, I don't know what's going on here, what's happening? Do you just go into that space of nothing's going to work out for me? I don't know what's going on. I just give up. Do you go straight there, or do you jump on the wheel of fortune? My supply is endless. I don't know what's going on right now, but I know one thing, my supply is endless and financial abundance finds me everywhere I am right now. I am always, I'm always easily able to access all that I need, want and desire to experience. My experiences are pleasurable, prosperous, and overflowing with good. My cup is overflowing. And my every need is met from the surplus. Those are some great affirmations that you can write down and use. Okay. All right, y'all. If you know that there is something deeper going on with your money patterns, with your behavior around money, the way you think about money and how you feel about it. Okay. Especially if you are someone who earns a lot of money. Okay. But you still feel like your bank account can't catch up. If you still feel broke. Okay, you bringing in $3 million a year. But it feels like you didn't bring much. It feels like you brought in only like $10,000 because of something, because of a behavior pattern, because of a belief system. Okay. Then I want you to get on my mailing list. All right. The links will be somewhere around these videos, somewhere. Okay. Whether you're watching it live, if it's live right now, child, I don't know. Or whether you are or whether you are catching this later on, you can just get on the mailing list. It is free. Okay. because very soon I'm going to be releasing my Sovereign Wealth Archetype ebook and quiz, okay? And it's going to print out a report that helps you identify what your wealth archetype is. All right? And this is going to help you get a deeper understanding of what's going on so that you are able to realign with your wealth frequency, the one that you were born with. Okay. The original one. And I'm not talking about, oh, well, I was born with a poverty mindset. No, you were not. No, you weren't. You weren't born with a poverty mindset. Look at a small child. Look at a child as they play. Okay. You have to like stop that child from like, running off the edge of something or falling down because they're just going and going and going, right? They're not that's not built into them. That's not built in yet. The limitations, okay? The limiting beliefs, the fear and all of that is not built into them yet. Now they do have the natural, they have that natural fear of like when they're about to fall or they hear a loud noise. Yes, that's natural, that's innate. But all of the intellectual fear, I'll put it like that, the intellectual fears, you learn that, okay? The thoughts that turn into fears. That's an intellectual fear because it was learned and then it was perfected. Okay. And for those of you who are ready to go deeper, as you know, I am currently taking applications for the Sovereign Millionaire Activation Sessions, okay? These are intensive sessions that last for about 2 days, all right? And we just go in heavy and we just hit, and clear, okay? But you do have to be a good candidate for it. So there is, you can do a free consultation call with me. The link will be somewhere there so you can set that up just to find out if we're going to be a good fit, to find out if it's something that you're actually ready for. And then you'll do an assessment. Okay, you have to fill out a deep assessment plan, a deep assessment so that I can look at it and make sure that this is something that you are indeed ready to work through. Because see, every blockage is not ready to be removed. That's another thing. Every cord ain't ready to be cut. I don't cut cords, I remove them. Okay. So before you jump in with someone that's, claiming to help you clear some stuff, if they're not saying, hey, let's do a consultation first to make sure that we're ready to move forward, to make sure that you're a good candidate for this, then you probably don't want to work with them. Because I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna do an article about this. I already wrote it. I'm gonna post it very soon. Every when people are claiming to be able to do things real fast for you, you need to be weary of that, especially when we're talking about energy work and dealing with emotions, okay? Because some things, most of the time, you have to do things in steps and in phases, okay? So if you have someone that's telling you, hey, I can help you like, get rid of that blockage, that childhood, that inner child trauma, I can remove that real fast, run in the other direction. Okay. And I'm gonna just leave that there. All right, y'all. So I hope that this was helpful for someone. And I will be coming back every Wednesday at 1 p.m. And, hopefully after this retrograde, everything will be on point. And I'll have everything figured out with this like platform that I'm trying to use right now. Okay. So I thank you all for your time and your attention today. Please look for those links if you would like to schedule a free consultation to discuss your eligibility for the Sovereign Millionaire Activation Sessions, and definitely get on the mailing list. Okay, make sure you get on the mailing list so that you can be the first one to know when the Sovereign Wealth Archetype ebook is ready to roll out. All right, y'all. I thank you so much for your time and your attention today, and I'll see you all in the next one.